Hey y'all, I have a wonderful meal plan to share with you guys today that will feed one person for 7 days, 3 meals a day for only $30. So you guys are wondering, why, Heather, are you doing a meal plan for one person for 7 days when you have a house of 4 people? Well, friends, if you missed my video that I fed one person for 7 days for $20, I will link that in the description below. I did that for a female 20-year-old in college. And so this time I thought, well, how about if I decide to put a meal plan together for a male that is my husband, that is 6'3", 6'2", and ex-football player. So that will give you the scope of man that he is. That will require a little bit more food and is on a healthier journey, requires healthier food. And if I could feed him and make him feel comfortable for 7 days, 3 meals a day, for only $30, then I feel like I've accomplished something. So he was the person that did this challenge. Now I want to go over, it is such a great meal plan. I swear it's so good. And I actually ate some of the lunch because the lunch portion, or what I made for lunches, really made a lot. And that was a cold salad. Not a pasta salad, but a cold salad that you didn't have to reheat it, or it could be at room temperature, and it was pretty hearty and, most importantly, very healthy. Then I made a cheddar broccoli potato soup that I found at a Weight Watchers website years ago, and we really enjoyed that. So that was on the menu, as well as a chicken rice fajita casserole. And that is a twist because my husband doesn't care for chicken all that much. He will eat it as long as it's flavored really well. He doesn't think chicken has much of a flavor, but he loved this one. So I'm going to show you that. And breakfast. I can't forget about the most important meal of the day, which he believes is the most important meal of the day, is breakfast. So guys, let's dive in and let me show you how show you each recipe and how I made them and how he ate it during the week. This is my $30 Walmart grocery haul. I got some discount bakery bread for 87 cents, sharp cheddar cheese, pepper jack cheese, both 8 ounces each. I got 1 container of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. This is 5.2 ounces, 6 eggs, 2 ham steaks, half a gallon of milk, 1 pound of brown rice, taco seasoning, and I should have gotten fajita seasoning, so I'll have to fix that. And then a package of these strawberry cheesecake muffin mix, 1 green bell pepper, 3 Roma tomatoes, a red onion. I found the smallest I could find. 2 russet potatoes, green onions, 1 large cucumber, a bag of frozen broccoli, florets, and I've got a 12.5 ounce chunk chicken breast, some banana peppers, some Dijon mustard, chickpeas, cream of potato, soup, pinto beans, and corn. So friends, that is my $30 Walmart grocery haul. Let's make an egg casserole, friends, for the week. This is going to give you about 6 nice servings of egg casserole. I'm taking 2 of the sub rolls that I got at the discount bakery rack at Walmart. I'm going to cube those up to, I don't know, probably bite sizes to distribute throughout the casserole. You could add more bread if you want. I'm starting with 2 to see how it looks. And then you want to crack 6 eggs into a bowl. Yes, all of those eggs in the carton. And I'm going to put a little bit of milk, probably 2 tablespoons of milk, mix it really well, and then add some salt and pepper to taste. You could add whatever seasonings you like with your eggs. Can't go wrong with it. Mix that well, and now it's time to add all the goodness, which is the cubed bread
And this is a whole bell pepper that I purchased. I already diced it up, and I'm adding 1/4 of a cup of the bell pepper and saving the rest for another recipe that I will show later in this video, and another 1/4 of a cup of red onion, and also some ham. There was 2 ham steaks. One I already cubed up and put to another dish, and I'm diced up the other one, and I'm putting pretty much half of it, I would say, of that ham steak and saving the rest for another recipe. And I shredded up 4 ounces of cheddar cheese. I just feel like cheddar cheese tastes better in egg casseroles for whatever reason, but you could pick whatever cheese you like. And adding some green onion, just because I think green onion, 1, does great color, but 2, adds great flavor to eggs, especially in egg casseroles. And I'm adding just a little bit more flavor to the dish. I'm going to put some garlic powder. Again, put whatever seasonings you like in your casserole. There's no particular recipe for this, so add what you enjoy. Mix really well and preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Grab a 9x13 casserole, grease it well. You could, this is a little bit smaller just because of the rounded edges of a 9x13, but it's pretty close to a 9x13 casserole. Spread your egg mixture evenly across that dish, and you want to cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes. And this again will make you 6 servings. I'm going to actually cut them up, bag them into individual baggies. So all he has to do in the morning is pull it out and heat it up. And there were 2 corners of the casserole dish that was just a smidge smaller than the rest, but no fear. I made some muffins. As you notice, I had some muffin mix that was in my grocery haul, and he could just add a muffin to his breakfast to give him more of a full feel for the morning.
Let's put a salad together, friends. I took one of those ham steaks, cubed that up, and then we need some banana pepper and Dijon mustard, chickpeas, corn, pinto beans, and 4 ounces of that pepper jack cheese cubed up. Now, before we put everything into the salad together, I'm going to make sure to rinse every bit of those canned vegetables, the corn, the pinto beans, and the chickpeas, because they are packed with salt. I want to be able to control that salt taste in the dish. So rinsing all of them helps with this process. I got this salad idea from a Facebook reel. They used other veggies. I used what we liked, and most importantly, what fit the budget. You want to add the cheese and the ham, then the red onion, the tomato, and half of the cucumber. I did put about 1/4 of a cup of the red peppers, 1 Roma tomato seeded, and then half of that cucumber that was purchased. Now I'm adding 2 handfuls of the banana peppers, and as you can see, I'm sort of breaking those banana peppers up, mainly because I want it to be well distributed across the dish, but also it's a little bit easier to eat when they're broken up. Once I mix all the veggies, cheese, and ham well together, I'm going to put together the dressing. I'm doing about 3 tablespoons of olive oil and about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'll add a little bit more salt later if I need to. Sometimes Dijon mustard can be a bit salty, so I want to control the salt for now. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to add just a smidge, about a teaspoon of that banana pepper juice, and then 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. I think if you had any other vinegar on hand, that would work. Red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar would be good as well. And then 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of parsley. Now I'm going to get this all well blended together. A really, really good shake. I think shaking does so much better than whisking for some reason. I just feel like it gets well incorporated better. Once I get it well incorporated, I'm going to do a little taste test to see if it needs any additional flavoring. And indeed, I needed to add just a little bit more olive oil, about a teaspoon, and then a little bit more cracked black pepper for taste. I'm going to mix that well again, and then we're going to do one more taste test just to make sure those flavors are on point before adding it to the salad. Now this salad makes a ton. You will see how much the salad makes. And what I love about the salad, friends, is that you could have this for lunch, you can have it for a snack, and you can have it for dinner. It is pretty hearty and it will last a long time. I tasted it and it tasted delicious. That dressing was on point. It can only get better as it sits in that dressing and marinate. What I love, friends, is that you can eat this at room temperature or you can eat it cold. Regardless, it is very portable and easy to eat on the go. I think you will love this recipe. All right, friends, let's make an easy, cheesy chicken fajita casserole. But let's start making a homemade cream of chicken soup. My recipe, you could start off with 1/4 cup of butter, or in this case, I'm starting off with 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and you want to add slowly to the pan 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I add it slowly because I feel like it incorporates with the butter or the oil better. Once I've accomplished that and received a nice little brown on that roux, that's when I'm going to start adding in the milk and the chicken stock. My recipe calls for 1/2 cup of chicken stock and 1/2 cup of milk. And I put a little chicken stock in, and then I swirl it around, mix it well, add a little bit of milk in, mix it well until it gets all well incorporated. I do that until all of the milk and all of the chicken stock is well incorporated into that roux. Now take your time, friends. This process takes me about 10 minutes to get it to the consistency that I want, and I just continue to add a little bit of milk, a little bit of chicken stock. Sometimes I have to use a little bit more stock or a little bit more milk to get the thickness that I want. Now you want to add the spices. You want to add 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Mix that well, and as you can see, it was a little thick for me, so I decided to add just a smidge more milk to get it to the consistency that I want for my casserole dish. This is what I want right here. It's not too thick, but it's not too thin. It's just perfect. I'm going to add it to a very large bowl because I'm going to mix a ton of ingredients for this casserole, and then I'm going to add 1/2 of this packet of fajita mix. Now, if you remember, I bought taco seasoning and I purchased the wrong thing, so luckily I had the fajita mix in my cabinet. So add 1/2 of the fajita mixture to it, and then some low-fat Greek yogurt. The recipe calls for sour cream. I like to use low-fat Greek yogurt, more protein and healthier for you. I'm only going to use 3/4 of this 5-ounce container of low-fat non-Greek yogurt. I'm going to use the rest in another recipe that I will show you later. Mix this really well. Now, the original recipe does call for, it does have 8 servings. I'm only doing a half recipe for 4 servings. As you can see, friends, I added some green onion to the pan and mixed that well, and then I added the rest of that green pepper. I used a little bit of the green pepper for the breakfast casserole. I used the rest of it into the dish, and then I chopped up 2 Roma tomatoes and add them to the casserole, as well as 1 can of drain rinsed chicken. Chop the chicken up just a little bit as I was mixing in so that the chunks wouldn't be so large. And then I'm going to add about 1/2 cup to probably more of 1/4 of a cup to a half, maybe it's more like a heaping 1/4 of a cup of cheese. It's the pepper jack cheese. I felt like that would taste really delicious in this particular dish. And then I'm going to add in the rice. The recipe does call for instant rice. That was too expensive, so I just bought the brown rice. I cooked up 1 cup of brown rice in my rice cooker, and that's what I'm adding into this casserole dish. Make sure that is well incorporated. Grease your pan. This is an 8x8. And then add your casserole mixture to the pan. Spread it out evenly. Make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Everything is cooked through. You just want it to be nice and bubbly and brown, and that cheese melted on top. And then you just top it with as much cheese as you would like. I brought 2 8-ounce bars of cheese. I bought a lot of cheese, so I have a lot to use within this recipe and others. This is the final product of cooking in the oven for about 20 minutes, and just serve it in one. It's got all the stuff. It's got veggies, it's got protein, it's got the carbohydrate. My husband said it was so delicious, and he definitely wants this again. A great budget recipe indeed.
Broccoli potato cheddar soup. Start with a tablespoon of olive oil in your pan. Add half of a red onion diced. Allow it to saute and soften before adding in 1 can of cream of potato soup. That's right, I said cream of potato. This is what's going to be the most delicious base to your soup and give it so much body and delicious texture. Now, I see some larger potato chunks in this soup, and I don't large chunks, so I'm going to break it up to make it in smaller chunks. So that way it's a little bit more of a smooth texture versus a chunky texture. Once I get it to the consistency that I like, I'm going to add in slowly, stir in slowly, 4 cups of 2% milk. The recipe calls for skim milk, but I'm using 2% because I want a little bit more fat, considering that this needs to fill us up and make us feel not hungry, and so it has to be more substantial. Once I get that well mixed in, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard and some salt and pepper to taste. I'm not adding as much salt yet because I am going to add in half of that ham steak cubed up. The recipe does not call for this. However, I want to give it some more protein. Again, allow it to be more substantial for a meal. So I'm going to add in half of that ham steak, 1 of those ham steaks cubed. Stir that in, get it well incorporated, and then that's when I'm going to add in 12 ounces of thawed broccoli, frozen broccoli that was in the grocery haul. I chopped it up in smaller pieces because I wanted it to be easier to eat and more creamy. And I also added in that water and the rest of the remnants that came from the microwave dish that I used to thaw it. I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And that is when I'm going to add in half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese to the dish. The recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to reserve 1/4 of a cup to top the soup with before eating it. Now, once you get it to the consistency that you like, it is time to serve up. Friends, I'm going to have to tell you, my husband absolutely loves this recipe. It's a healthy but substantial enough recipe to fill you up, and it has great protein in it, and it's so savory and so delicious and creamy. You have to try it. It is a Weight Watchers recipe. I will put it in the description below so you can try it, but it is definitely budget friendly, filling, and delicious. I paired it with some garlic toast from the bag of bread I had left over.
So how did he do for 7 days? Well, after looking at all the food, what he had left over was that cold salad that I made. It made a ton. And I actually ate some of it too for a couple lunches. That's how much it made. He really enjoyed that. He did not get tired of eating it. He ate some for lunch, some for dinner, especially if it was a dinner that we were on the run with kids' activities. It was easy for him to bring to wherever he was. He didn't have to heat it up, and it was great at room temperature or cold. So that was a favorite. If you are looking for a substantial salad, friends, to make for a family get-together or something you could eat through the week, that's one to do. If you need something relatively inexpensive but healthy and delicious, that was a winner. The chicken rice casserole, that was the one that I was a little nervous about because he is picky about chicken. He wants his chicken to taste really delicious and not dried out, and he loved that casserole. He said, I don't know what it was about. The chicken was flavored delicious, and it's because I used the canned chicken, friends. I think that's what it was. The canned chicken was tender, it was flavorful, and then putting that fajita seasoning made it all dynamic. And that gave him 4 really heavy portions for lunches and dinners during the week. And then I made that broccoli potato soup, which he is a huge cheddar broccoli soup fan. Wherever we go and have it on the menu, he will get it. But what's nice about this is he got that taste and flavor of the broccoli cheddar soup without all the calories of fat and unhealthiness that soup can bring. But it was substantial because of the potatoes. It was creamy because of the potatoes, and he loved it. He had 4 very generous portions that he could eat during the week, whether for lunches or for dinner. And then we had those twice baked potatoes. Now he could eat, there were 2 potatoes, pretty large potatoes, that he could eat 1 or he could eat both. Regardless, it gave him either 4 or 2 very nice portions for for a lunch or a dinner. And then don't forget about breakfast, one of his favorites, and that was that egg casserole. And I'm going to have to say, I'm going to make that for future casseroles for us to eat because I'm not huge on eggy casseroles. And that was the perfect mixture of egg and bread and veggies and meat, to where it didn't taste too eggy for me. So that turned out really well. That gave him 6 very nice portions for the week. And then he could mix it up with those strawberry muffins, which is just, good. That was enough for him to have for 2 or 1 or snacks or whatever. But needless to say, he had lots of choices, a lot of variety. He could mix and match each day of what he would want to do. And it fed him. And he was quite healthy, quite happy, and he didn't feel like he was missing out on anything. Friends, I hope this inspires you to go out and think outside the box that you can eat healthy with substantial amount of food for less than $30 for 7 days. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And if you haven't already, would love for you to subscribe. Love to see you in future videos. And I think YouTube would like you to see these videos above. You guys stay safe and most importantly, stay encouraged.